Everybody. Can we hear another round of applause for the Muntu Dance Troupe? My name is Samir Mayekar, and I'm incredibly proud to serve as your Deputy Mayor for Neighborhood and Economic Development. And on behalf of Mayor Lori Lightfoot, I want to welcome you here, especially on this very snowy day. Thank you for coming out. Now, I might be biased because I play the drums, but I think there's no better way to start a morning than with a little bit of rhythm and percussion. And we're here today for the third community kickoff meeting for the Invest Southwest program. So thank you again for coming out. Now, before we move on, I want to say a particular thanks to two of our elected leaders who are here, our tireless advocates of their communities, Alderman Pat Dowell and Alderman Leslie Hairston. Thank you very much for being here.
Stage left. Not the podium side, but the other side.
Now, what is Invest Southwest? We're going to hear about this program and learn about this together over the course of this afternoon. But as you know, the mayor's talked about this many times. For far too long, the city has invested in certain neighborhoods and not in others. The mayor's talked so much about how we need to focus more south of Roosevelt Road and west of Ashland. And so we're here today to learn about the Invest Southwest program and how it is centered on investing in the community plans that many of you and folks in our communities have spent countless hours to create. We are convening city departments, private sector leaders, and community leaders to work in advocacy of this program. And you have our commitment that we're not just here to plan, we're here to move investment and to do things together. We can applaud that. So the focus of today is to hear from you on your priorities, and I hope you have a chance to visit some of the other rooms next door to us because we have maps, we have planning activities, and we really want to make sure that the investment is focused on the priorities that you all have today. So one other item before we move on that I want to stress where we need your help, and that's on the 2020 census. So as many of you know, this is the census year, and we need an accurate count to ensure that investment flows to our city. And there's a lot of folks out there who don't want us to be accurately counted. But regardless of your age, regardless of your neighborhood, of your age, of your citizenship status, of your race, we want to make sure that our communities in Chicago are counted accurately. So starting April 1st, please fill out your census card. And for the first time this year, the census is actually going to be done online as well. So you can visit census2020.chicago.gov to actually fill out your census. So with that, I'd like to bring up our host for today in this beautiful facility, and that's Rhonda Hops with the Gary Comey Center. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. Can I just see how many people, this is your first time at the youth center? That's fantastic, because I am so excited to be your host today and have you have a chance to explore this facility. Now, we're biased, so we feel that this is spectacular space, that every child in Chicago should have access to something like this. But like most things, it starts with a dream. So Gary Comer had a dream. First it was, we've got to find a space for the South Shore drill team to have a home to practice on a regular basis. Then the dream just kept getting bigger. Well, if the drill team needs space, what about the other youth that are in the community? What about the adults in the community and community groups who might want to have a place where they can come to that is beautiful? What about just in general, how inspiring is it to have a building that is beautiful next door to where you live? It makes you feel like you are worth more. Am I right? And so that is what this building has become, 80,000 square feet of dreaming and possibilities. We serve over 2,000 youth here annually in a variety of programs. You're sitting in our flexible space, which is our auditorium/gym. We have a full kitchen, chef's kitchen, where we run culinary programs. Across the street and above your head, we have farms where our students work in understanding where food comes from nutrition standpoint, health standpoint, how to own their own communities, how to solve for the food desert crisis that is in so many neighborhoods. They learn that right here. And then when they're done with that, we want them to explore a variety of experiences so that they can build a dream. Oh, you've never done art before? Well, we have an art studio. You want to dance? Well, we saw some dancing here, right? You want to do, you think you might be a broadcaster? We've got media for you. We've got a sound booth. We've got sound engineering. We have robotics. We have so many things here where students can touch a different experience and learn how to dream a bigger dream. And now we're taking it to the next level where we're going to add additional workforce experiences, career experiences to students before they graduate high school, so that when they graduate, their CPS plan for their future is robust and based on actual experiences. So I encourage you as you walk around the center. We've got plenty of spaces where different things are going on today. This is your space too. This is your community and your community center, and we're so, so happy to have you. Thank you. At this point, I would love to bring up Alderman Hairston, our alderman, where'd she go? To welcome you as well, and thank you again for coming out on this snowy day, and for the mayor's office for bringing us into this great conversation.
Happy New Year. I was cleaning out some things the other day, and I found the original welcome packet when we opened this facility in May of 2006. And it was described as the Gary Comer Youth Center serves hundreds of young people, now it's thousands, within and beyond its neighborhood by leveraging a host of dynamic and unique partnerships. Having opened its doors in May 2006, the center offers engaging opportunities to stimulate the educational and social growth of our youth. The center organizes its efforts around the explicit goal of 100% high school graduation rate, with our member students prepared to pursue college and careers. Located on South Chicago Avenue at 72nd Street, just one block from Paul Revere Elementary School, the 80,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility also serves as the home of the South Shore Drill Team and Performing Arts Ensemble. This was just one building. We are now a campus. We are now the Comer campus, which is why I got my Gary Comer College Prep shirt on, and we are 14 years in this facility. And when Gary and I worked on this project, we actually learned a lot, and it's more than just putting money into something, and I think that's the difference between funding something and investing in something. And this was an investment not just in a facility, but in a community, and that's what makes a difference, and that's what our mayor is doing here now. We had state-of-the-art people that John Ronan did not design this facility. And if you look around, it was built with the community in mind. The exterior, the color panels, they animate the facade and speak to both the youthful orientation of the inhabitants and the optimism of the community. Just think about that. The tower that you see, the cross views, the glass so that you could see adjoining spaces and create a sense of community and security. Just outside there, we have the parade ground, and that doubles as a parking lot, but it allows a place for the drill team to stage so that they can prepare for their upcoming events. We now have a high school, and the kids learn to travel between just like you would on a college campus. The building adapts, those seats retract, and it becomes the gymnasium. And the tower, again, symbolizes community and announces upcoming events in the facility. I am very proud of the work that we have done as a community. It was not easy, but everybody was invested, and I am glad to see you all and to welcome you all here today. And now it is my distinct pleasure to bring up my colleague to the north, Alderman Pat Dowell of the 3rd Ward. Can you come up, please?
Thank you, Leslie. Hello, everybody. Hello. Good morning. As I was driving from my home in Bronzeville to this location for this meeting this morning, you know, I was driving down Cottage Grove and passing the stores and the vacant lots and looking at the housing stock. And I was thinking how appropriate it is that we have this opportunity at this time. And while many of us in this room have toiled hard in our communities, making something out of nothing, working with lemons and making lemonade, knowing we need more, I am happy to have the opportunity to come here today to hear more about Invest Southwest. I want to thank Mayor Lightfoot for making our communities a priority. It's no secret that there's been a lack of support and funding for our communities, whether you live on the west side of the city or the south side of the city. We all know we need more. I think that this project hopefully will bring more infrastructure improvement in our community, will bring more business development in our community so we can shop more where we live instead of getting in our cars and driving to Orland or River Oaks or downtown or Roosevelt Collection, that we are able to shop in our own communities. I'm hopeful that this program will bring more affordable housing to our ward and more market rate housing to our ward so we can live out our own dreams and provide dreams for our children in the communities in which they grow up. I'm hopeful that this project will increase job opportunities for our young people in areas that, you know, we may not even be thinking of right now. I was just talking to someone this morning, Richard, about horticulture opportunities for our young people, or cybersecurity or technology, or it's not just about retail opportunities and working in hotels and, you know, whatever. We can do everything, and the sky should be the limit. So I'm excited about this opportunity, and I just really want to thank Mayor Lightfoot for coming in with that passion. I want to thank her for taking a chance and bringing in a new planning commissioner to inject some life and energy in that department. And I hope that we, as we're sitting here today, take advantage of these opportunities. Let's put our foot and our metal to the pedal, or whatever that saying goes, and let's get going. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aldermans Hairston and Dowell. My name is Abby Monroe. I am the Public Participation Officer for the City of Chicago's Department of Planning and Development, and I'll be back in a little bit to tell you all about the activities and the art that we have here today for you to engage with. We wanted to take a minute in today's program to invite some of our community partners to the stage to share some remarks. So if Tonya Trice from the South Shore Chamber of Commerce and Rhonda McFarland from Quad Communities Development Corporation could please join me up here, as well as Fahim Majid, who is our artist curator today, is going to tell you a little bit about the different participating artists.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Abby. Again, good morning and thank you. My name is Tonya Trice, and I'm the Executive Director of the South Shore Chamber of Commerce, and we are very excited to be part of the 10 communities selected to participate in the Invest Southwest program. The South Shore Chamber of Commerce is the lead economic development agency in the South Shore community. The Chamber is also a delegate agency for the City of Chicago, and we provide support to our local businesses, owners through technical assistance, education, access to resources, networking, and public policy. Mayor Lightfoot, we thank you and your team for seeing the urgent need to invest resources in our community. Many of our micro businesses are not able to acquire small business loans, so additional grants from public resources can mean the difference from sustaining or closing their doors. It can mean the difference from a tow truck driver buying another truck, or maybe the local baker buying more equipment so that she can satisfy the demand in the community. We are hopeful that the Invest Southwest will also help to strengthen some of the struggling or non-existing industries in our community, like entertainment and manufacturing. For me, the most important component of this program is that it's community-driven. So often we hear about plans for our community that do not involve the residents, and we have no voice. We are grateful to the mayor for making sure that the community has a voice and a seat at the table for this program. Thank you. With the creation of the new South Shore Chamber Community Development Center, which you'll hear more about later in the year, we are facing forward and prepared to work in concert with our partners at the City of Chicago to drive Invest Southwest forward and make this program very successful for South Shore and the 9 other communities that it represents. Thank you all so much, and we look forward to connecting with you at the South Shore Chamber of Commerce. Please make sure that you stop by our table on the 3rd floor and pick up business cards and information about the programs that we provide and offer to our small businesses in the community. Thank you all.
Good afternoon. I represent Quad Communities Development Corporation. We are honored to have a history of working in and with the neighborhoods of Douglas, North Kenwood, Oakland, and Grand Boulevard for the past 16 years. QCDC and several other effective and dedicated agencies work throughout the neighborhoods of Bronzeville, and our collective work continues to grow, strengthen, and preserve the rich history of Bronzeville. Represented by, in City Council, we're proud to be represented by Alderman Pat Dowell, who you just heard from, and Alderman Sophia King, respectively the 3rd and 4th wards. We're so proud to have a great partnership with both of them. I am Rhonda McFarland, Executive Director of QCDC. 15 years ago, QCDC led a quality of life planning process, and it resulted in us having 3 strategic priorities: economic development, education, and employment. We continue this focus, and we continue this focus in partnership with the City of Chicago, our elected officials, and numerous community partners and stakeholders and organizations. For those of you that don't know us, know that in 2019, we assisted over 200 businesses in various ways. We provided 6 pop-up markets for small businesses, conducted 9 educational events. And that also includes hosting a retail store at Navy Pier where we featured 24 local businesses throughout the city of Chicago and with some of our partnering organizations like South Shore. We hosted, 5 area-wide marketing campaigns, and those are to promote economic development, commerce, and bring consumers in our community. If you have not been to a Bronzeville Summer Nights, we need to talk. Please stop by our table on the 3rd floor and get the save the date card for Bronzeville Summer Nights 2020. Additionally, we've identified small local retailers for over 10,000 square feet of rental space in our community. We hired 11 people in seasonal jobs, and we retained the services of 45 minority women and small local business owners. Those are all important parts of the economic development work that we do, in addition to streetscape projects and other infrastructure projects and just being a support and a partner. I was recently reminded of the words of Shirley Chisholm. You don't make progress by standing on the sideline, whimpering and complaining. You make progress by implementing ideas. QCDC is, has, and will continue to focus on strengthening the ecosystem in our neighborhoods and implementing ideas. We thank the mayor and we thank the mayor's leadership team for inviting us here today. I won't repeat all of the things that we need and we want in our communities. I think Alderman Dowell said it best. And the leadership of the city knows how we feel and what we think. We want to thank our partners who are in the room and that we will continue to work with. And I want to close out with a final quote from a dear friend, Jada Russell. Let's just get the work done.
Somebody first. You tell those to chill, all right?
Hey everyone, how you doing? First, I just want to thank the mayor's office and the aldermen for all the work that they're doing, and once again bringing these opportunities for all of us on the south and west sides. I also want to thank you all for coming out tonight. My name is Fahim Majid. I'm an artist who lives in South Shore, proud South Shore resident, but also, represent. All right. All right, and then also in Bronzeville is the space. I was the former director of Southside Community Arts Center, and it was a community that opened to me when I first came here. So that's my love too, right? But like many of us, we live and work in lots of different areas, and there's a diversity of the things that we want in our neighborhoods. But I am here today to represent the cultural kind of contributions of the day. Just to give you a little background, everything you see today is started at Gary Comer. They have a wonderful art class here, so I really sourced everything within an 8-block radius, similar to the vision of Gary Comer in the beginning. So when we're done here, make sure you kind of make your way up. You should give your contributions and things that we want to happen and we want to see in our neighborhoods right next door where these curtains are. Make your way up to the 2nd floor where there's an art class taught by Daria Emmerich, who teaches here. To the right, so you gotta go down the hallway. And then also, we love Muntu Dance Theater, right? That was awesome, right? Give them a hand. But right now, when you go upstairs, you can actually learn some of that Zulu. You know, that kick, get your leg up. We're gonna do that. So you can do that. There's a photo booth up there so the kids can enjoy themselves. You can enjoy yourselves. And then also make sure that you take time to sit with Tanika Johnson and Free Spirit Media to give a little feedback on what we want in our neighborhoods so it can go actually in a digital file, and we can share that. And then up top is food, right? Y'all hungry? Yeah, we gotta eat. And there's some booths along the way, but DJ Dwayne Powell is up there spinning the wheels of steel. We love him, house music. Any house heads in the house? Yeah, right? All right. And yes, so just enjoy yourself. If you have questions, just ask, but make your way through the building. Gary Comer opened his doors to me at the very beginning. I taught art class here. So it's wonderful to come home and stay home. So thank you so much, and enjoy your day.
Wow. Good morning. I am Maurice Cox, your new planning commissioner. Thank you. And it is such a great pleasure to be here. Rain, sleet, or snow, Chicago turns out. So I'd love to know who is in the house. So if you could give me a shout out. Is Brownsville in the house? All right, okay, Brownsville's in the house. How about South Chicago? You in the house? Okay. And what about South Shore? South Shore in whoa! South Shore is definitely in the house. Thank you all. This is a wonderful start, and I just want to start by thanking our alderman. Alderman Hairston, thank you for welcoming us into your community, and Alderman Dowell for your words and your commitment to this partnership. Alderman King, who wanted to be here, had a death in her family, but she sends her regards as well, because we really, really value this partnership. And this is what it looks like. The mayor standing with the city council and commissioners, and most importantly, with you, as we get this new investment strategy started. So my job here is to walk you through what Mayor Lightfoot's Invest Southwest is aspiring to do, which is to move your plans into action. And so here's for us where it starts. When the mayor was running for office, she traveled throughout every ward in Chicago. And she was struck by the level of inequity that she saw in investment in communities, and particularly on the west and south side. And she noted that it wasn't an absence of public investment. It was that public investment was not used to leverage private investment. And she said, we can change that. And so, she often, refers to this map. And what it shows is 50 years of public policy and what it has done to the Chicago landscape. If you're trying to read the map, that blue sliver along the lake was high income, but that salmon and cream color, that was Chicago's middle class. And then if you look at the map of 2017, you will see that the north side of town has grown richer and richer, and the middle class has all but been squeezed out of Chicago, and low-income areas on the south side and the west side have grown. This is something that we think public policy created, and if public policy created this map, public policy can create a new map. So the other impacts is this. So Chicago is effectively a global city. And we are often compared to New York and LA. But if you look at what's happened over the course of decades, New York and LA have continued to grow, while Chicago is the only global city in America whose population is declining. And so I think we all know why, because thousands of African American families are leaving this city. And the issue is what the quality of our streets, where we shop, the quality of the parks, where our kids play, the jobs that have disappeared from our communities. And so it is my assertion that yes, thousands left, but listen, hundreds of thousands decided to stay. And we are here to work so that these communities work for them and they can continue to plan to stay. And I think that's what this strategy is all about. It's about lifting up local owners of businesses who want to locally serve this community, like the Emmanuels, who just want families to have a sit-down restaurant where they can have healthy food with a soul food flavor. It's about other businesses like Sip and Savor, where you can have a cup of coffee and be surrounded by beautiful art. And it's just about families who have decided to raise their children on the south side of Chicago and make sure that they have a future and that their communities are socially, economically, environmentally healthy places to live. So that's what we're here to do. And in order to do that, we have got to do a strategy which is community-driven. And so you will be engaged today, as other communities this month have been as well, for your ideas for how we should be moving this strategy forward. And it's just not about planning, because quite frankly, these communities have been planned and planned and planned. For us, it's about moving to development, a community-driven vision of development. And so for us, this is going to take an unprecedented partnership between the mayor's office, and you see all of the aldermen who are in line who will be impacted by this investment working together with you. This is how we're going to get this work done. So here's the way we're going to start. We have gone through a series of data points to try to understand where we can bring this type of coordinated investment immediately and start to show results. So we have been to Austin and Hubbard Park and North Lawndale, Inglewood, Auburn Grisham, and now, today, we want to lift up the communities of South Shore, of South Chicago, of Bronzeville, which it would include North Kenwood, Oakland, Grand Boulevard, and Douglas. And so this is where we're going to start. But I want to assure you that if you don't see the community on the south side or west side where you live, the next phase is we're going to add 10 more of these communities. And then after that, we're going to add 10 more until we have touched every community on the south and west side. So how are we going to address this issue of equity and investment? So what we did was we looked for points of strength. I'm tired of people talking about our communities as having deficits and being disadvantaged. These communities have amazing strengths. And so here is one of them. First of all, the folks who are willing to show up, willing to get on the same page and chart out a vision. So all of these communities have plans that they have authored and we're going to work from. The other is they're really blessed with great access to transit. So you have the Jeffrey Jump, the express that takes you from the south side to downtown, and with all of those amenities that make that transit better. And you've got the MARTR stop right there where we can begin to do more transit-oriented development. And then you have an amazing network of existing services and anchor institutions like the South Shore Cultural Center. These are strengths that we can build from. And then important to this strategy is that there is a high concentration of business licenses that are already clustered. They need support, they need more businesses, and they need pedestrians to frequent those businesses. And so here's what I saw as I did my tour of Chicago neighborhoods. I was surprised and delighted to find communities like Hyde Park or Fulton Market. And just take a look at that street. Look at the wide, broad sidewalks, the tree canopies to shade pedestrians, the curation of that street. Look at the buildings that are being reinvested in and rehabbed with local business, national businesses. Chicago knows how to do this. And then look at the streets on the south side. Look at South Cottage Road. You've got amazing architectural assets, like the one in the slide, that's empty, waiting for reinvestment. Or along Commercial. These where buildings have been shuttered, the top stories are vacant, but it's all there. It's all there. If we have a coordinated strategy, we can revitalize these corridors. And so our goals are four. We want to amplify those local assets, wherever they may be. These are infrastructure projects, shuttered schools, areas that are beloved by a community that can be reinvested in. We want to focus the public investment in a way that it does multiple things. So you have an example of a branch library and then a community need for senior housing above, and combining those two to create the kind of synergy that could be a catalyst for revitalization. We want to drive the private investment to build local wealth. Very specifically, we have these amazing assets like the Avalon Regal Theater sitting there. If we can get local ownership in a way that those dollars stay in this community, we can bring these cultural assets back online. And then lastly, we want to try to integrate new ideas for how to ensure public safety. So if we put a police station or a fire station, there are many, many other community-serving programs that can truly make those hubs of community. And here's the most important thing. We are going to fund this work in a way that it is leveraged to create millions of dollars of reinvestment in the community. 500 million were asked, the mayor asked departments to find in their budget of projects which have the ability to transform community. And in my department alone, $250 million of investment to go into these 10 communities. And this is money that has not been obligated. There's no project behind them. This is money that we have to strategically get out the door in order to leverage this for further private investment. That's the economic strategy that we're going to deploy. And I will say that I've had to really reimagine the planning department so to do this kind of work. And we have redrawn a map of Chicago that will allow for the first time a dedicated group of planners to serve each and every region of this city. And so we have in the southeast side, there are 4 planners. They are here today who will be the core of a group of planners who are available to you, the community, to the community organizations, to investors, and they will be on the job 24/7, 365 days a year until we get this job done. So let me talk a little bit about the toolkit, because there are very specific things that we hope to invest in. The first is the building stock. Your communities are blessed with an amazing array of buildings. So when the city planners and developers laid this out, centuries ago, they didn't discriminate on any part of the city. So we have buildings that are there that need to be reinvested. We need to work with these businesses that have been there for many, many years. But there are many other buildings, like this former bank building, that is waiting for its reuse and investment. So we're looking for these iconic neighborhood buildings that you believe have the ability to anchor reinvestment in these corridors. And we know how to do this, right? This was an example of a building on South Michigan. The storefront was bricked over, it became a garage, the tops were closed. And then look what strategic investment did. Shops on the ground floor, people living above the shop. We know how to do this. We need to value these assets. And then, of course, transportation, which is a key. And I would contend that we're all pedestrians first. That's the first form of transportation. So I look really carefully about what the pedestrian experience is like on these corridors. And when I came across Chicago Avenue, this comparison I was flabbergasted. The Oak Park side of Chicago Avenue, look at it. The tree-lined, brick pavers, shops, and then look at the Chicago side of Chicago Avenue. And you see this derelict, uncared for landscape. This is unacceptable, and I think we can change this. And I know that these type of projects are challenging, multi-million-dollar investments, so they take time. But there are things that we can do right now in 2020 to shift the balance towards the pedestrian and try some of these innovative tactical strategies to give the pedestrians more space. And test out, some of these strategies before we make the long-term commitment. We can start to do this in all of these corridors over 2020, and if we like them and they work, we can make them permanent. If we don't, we can just take them up and try it again. So we're going to be looking for those opportunities where you think we can create this public realm, tactical early investment. And then vacant lots. There are lots of vacant lots in these corridors. We know that it's going to take time for them to find kind of ground up new construction. So in the meantime, can we try to beautify these lots and have them perform other things for us, like managing stormwater, demonstrating different ways to green our neighborhoods, and create, over time, a whole generation of stewards. These are green-collar jobs. This helps young people begin to care for their community. So just planting a grove of trees so that the lot looks cared for and orderly. We have to do these type of strategies that are more innovative as we wait for the long-term investment on these lots. And then, of course, something dear to me is the role of public art and community cultural programming. We need to let our creative class, our artists, take over our communities and turn even the most banal things like a viaduct into an expression of art and creativity. And so we're going to be working closely with the artistic community to get their ideas. So if a building is vacant, maybe the whole building becomes a canvas for an expression of art, again, as we try to create something really, really special that people can value and understand their value. And then for me, it's really important that we set the stage for cultural programming in our communities again. Many of you remember when the community was rich with these kind of offerings. We have to begin that process again. We have to make a place for public life, cultural life, to take hold on these corridors. And you will see the work of DCASE this summer, and they are going to pronounce this year the Year of Chicago Music, and we want to make sure they have wonderful venues to perform in. And then this issue of shopping locally. How do we support an ecosystem of locally serving businesses? And so the Motor City Match program, the Neighborhood Opportunity Fund program is helping local entrepreneurs open up their dream business, like the Sean Michelle homemade ice cream parlor. Just the simple act of being able to go with your kids to an ice cream parlor on Saturday morning. And then most recent NOF recipient, award winner that we celebrated this week, and it's Corey Williams with the 345 Gallery. This program has been retooled to be new and improved, that gives more capital at the right times to business owners who want to create a locally serving business. So this program, the next workshop is going to be on February 6th, and we hope to fill those storefronts with local businesses that are locally owned and that are locally serving. So how is all this going to play out? You are at the beginning of the process, and we need to hear from you. We need to find out what your ideas are, where this strategy is going to have the most catalytic impact. So you will find on the various floors planners who are situated by maps and other activities to collect your thoughts. And we have collected hundreds over the past month. We read them all, we transcribe them, we prioritize them, and we are beginning to see what your priorities are, and we're going to implement them. And so it's really important that we capture all of your thoughts so that we know we're on the right path as we invest. And then a number of things have been happening to prepare for this moment. The City Hall has been getting its act together with bi-monthly meetings with all of the departments that are asked to bring their particular departments and expertise to this strategy. We're starting through this session and sessions like this that will happen in February. We are probably going to go to a smaller neighborhood-based scale, and we're asking the community partners to be our host as we work through these strategies. We're going to refine a work plan, and you are going to start to see evidence of this investment starting this spring, starting this summer. You will see a change in your community. And we understand that there are other projects that require significant capital and a significant planning. We will be working with those entrepreneurs and those investors to roll out a set of actionable development components that will create this initial investment activity. And I stress that, because I'm sure some of you are sitting there and saying, well, it's about time. Well, I agree with you. It is about time. And then others, I'm sure, are saying, well, is this enough? No, it's not enough. It is vitally important that this strategy serves to catalyze others who will invest in the South Side, others who will invest in the West Side. And we use Invest Southwest as a framework because we know we have to have a affordable housing framework for Invest Southwest and new housing. We have to have a schools as center of community Invest Southwest. We have to have a parks Invest Southwest. And so when we finish this strategy, we will have a comprehensive renewal of the South Side and the West Side of the city. That's what we are here to do. That's what I believe we can do if you are willing to come along this journey with us. I am so thrilled to get it started. I'm so thrilled to have you as our partner, and I'm ready to get the show on the road. So thank you so much.